Yadira Gonzalez Munoz, CEO of I Am Magazine, brings you conversations with I Am TV.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are watching us in the world. I am Yadira Gonzalez Munoz, your host at Conversations with I Am TV. Today, we are beyond excited to introduce a truly inspirational guest, Cathleen Beerkens, the visionary founder of a wellness revolution. Kathleen has transformed the way we think about health and well being through her groundbreaking work as a wellness coach, an author, and thought leader in the field of integrative health. Today, we're going to dive deep into her journey, exploring her path to success, her revolutionary coaching methods, and the powerful message in her book, Your Creator Matrix. We can't wait to share her incredible story with you. Kathleen, welcome to Conversations with I Am TV.
Oh, I'm so delighted. Thank you for having me. This is so actually very special because your work and my work totally, I feel, align. And I'm really excited to be part of your mission almost from the beginning. So I think it's very special to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. You have been also special for us all this way, all these years that we've been going and growing with the magazine. So, Kathleen, can you share more about your journey and what led you to found a wellness revolution in 2019?
Yeah, it's been a journey. You know, we all have our stories, and I have mine, and I'm like have had a lot of years already on me. And I'm thinking it doesn't feel like that. It feels like just yesterday I was in college or in university or whatever, getting married, having children. It just all flew. But of course, when you're going through it, it doesn't, especially the hard times. And I think that we hate those difficult moments because they can be so challenging. But in the book, I really try to explain that our difficult moments are sort of our gift if we can look at what they bring us. Because in the end, I wouldn't even be where I am today without those difficult moments. So I had a vision that I very early on that I wanted to be in the hospital. I tell that in my book. It was a very strange story. I get invited to a big hospital. I was 14 or something, a teenager. And they invited us because we had lived through like 3 years of their construction because we live next to them.
Yeah.
So actually they invited my father. So I was interested. So I went with him. And it was the strangest thing. I get to the ward of this big hospital, having never been to a hospital actually. And I just had a kind of knowingness. Oh my goodness, I need to be in a hospital. I need to work in something like this. It was like a light or an excitement happened. And I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, calling maybe. And so from, many years of study in psychology, biology, health, education, nursing, working as a very high intensive care, emergency room, all the hard things, took the hard surgical floors, took everything difficult. I don't know why I did that, but I guess I just didn't think about it. And I thought, well, med surge, let's see. And then there was one opening in that year because there was a nursing, like sometimes nursing is overabundant need and under, right? And this time you couldn't get a job. So I was like, oh, as a graduate, I'm going to be lucky to get a job. And so I looked, and Georgetown and the surgical units had one in the step down unit for ENT, like all the radical necks and all the really intensive surgeries. And I didn't think about it. I thought, oh, we'll be doing tonsillectomies. That's not true. It was the scariest floor I've ever been on. I think the first week I thought, what have I done? And, but yet there my journey began. And so then I worked in clinical nursing at 12 years, started having my family, married a Dutch guy who lived with me in America. But then I tell in the book how it came to a critical moment, like we all do. We have to make a decision in our life where we're going to go, what we're going to choose. And even though we might think we want something, which is so interesting, we think we know the right decision. But actually, I tell in the book how when I thought I wanted this to go to New York, and I was offered that I could have gone to New York, but and I really didn't really want to go to Europe. Like that was just too far. But when my husband said the two options, I like have this ability and I went kind of inside and I felt, and New York became very heavy. And this was in the year 1996 and at the end, seven. And then, of course, we know what happened to New York. And I tell in the book how he would have been on I think the 77th floor of one of the towers. So it was definitely the right decision. And that's so interesting, isn't it? So I went through a lot and actually I tell in the book how I I really started to fall apart after my first baby. And I didn't understand that because I was always so strong and I could do everything, And there I was with a new baby and I was crying all the time. I was a mess. I didn't like the feeling of having a baby all the time. I was like stuck, I felt like, oh my goodness. And I had to get used to it. So I went through this experience, and from that difficult experience, and also he had challenges with his health. So all these things started happening to me. And I was from mainstream medicine. So I thought, oh, it'll all work. I'll go, like my whole family are doctors and nurses, and I'll do that, and that will answer his problem. But actually, not only did it not answer his problem, it didn't answer my problem. So I continued to get more out of balance with the medical treatments. He continued to get more out of balance, and I had to search for other things. And that was really my beginning. So I started to search, and I hate when people call it alternative medicine because I don't agree. It should never have been called that. See, I was already thinking alternative medicine. Ew, that's not good, because I was from the mainstream. But what I found was that they should be actually working together. That's why I love the word integrative. We should have an integrative medical system in the future that answers the need and the root cause of people's issues. So this is really, and of course my path is more complicated, but in general, I kept searching, I kept asking questions, and I eventually realized I had abilities to heal in all levels, and things started happening for me like that. And so I had a practice in coaching and healing, and that went on and on for years. And then I was teaching, and then I was educating, and eventually I was really called to start a wellness revolution to bring vital information to humanity.
I love your story. You know that these type of stories that are from struggles and then to success is incredible because you can see not only the viewers but yourself how you became from when you were like this little to where you are today, and then you look at it, it's like you said, you didn't know that it was like time flies. It was like yesterday. But if you look backwards, say, wow, so much that I have accomplished, and that is wonderful. You also spoke about the challenges that we have. And I believe that those are lessons for us to become stronger or to know what is our next step to go to be or successful, be the best version of yourself or in any way of your life. And that is very interesting. So how do you envision the role of health and wellness coaches evolving in the changing landscapes of healthcare?
Yeah, so that's really where I was about to say that the healthcare system, although there are many good things about it, there are many challenges right now. It's challenged. I would say it's kind of falling apart in some level because it's not really serving humanity anymore. People are getting really conscious. There's an awakening on the planet, and this awakening is making us see more and know more ourselves. So we go to the doctor and we ask critical questions, and they don't have time. We think, oh, I already answered these questions. I'm giving all my power to something. And I'm not saying you don't need a doctor. Sometimes you really need a doctor, but you need a collaborative relationship. You need to also do your homework, take your responsibility. So where do I see it? I see it as we in the future have to learn how to take better care of ourselves, take more responsibility for ourselves on all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of them. We need to realize that we're multidimensional and we're not just linear beings. Many people, and when you and I were young, especially when I was young, we were just, many people thought we're just physical. You know, that's it. What you see is what you get. And actually, anything else was like kind of dogma from the religions. But as we start to really ask questions right now, and as we are evolving very quickly, we start to see that, yeah, we are much more than our physical body. And actually, our emotions and our spirit is vital to our well-being. So it's not just the physical, although as a nurse, I believe the physical is, it has to also be cared for. Like we can't just deny the physical either. People do that. So often I've seen people, and really I was in these spiritual, I went into a lot of spiritual events, let's say at one point, and physical, learning about nutrition. But I was in one spiritual where we were meditating to some whatever, we were in this huge meditation. And the thing that struck me is when I went to the back of the room, literally, and I was speaking to all the people, they were all like, I have cancer. I have autoimmune. I have diabetes. And I started thinking to myself, but wait a minute, you're so spiritual. You're so, is this like, so we're spiritual and we don't take care of our bodies, or what's going on here? Is there, so I started to ask questions about that. And then of course I had the physical, you know, people who were like raw foodists and they were going to take care of their body, and then they develop cancer and they didn't understand, oh, I've been caring for myself so well. I've been only exercising and eating perfectly, and yet they were sick. So it was definitely not linear. We have to grow to understand that to be well, like really well, means to be whole. When all aspects of ourselves are in harmony and really vibrating at a high level, then we can be feeling great and get out of bed and say, I have energy to do what I'm going to do and I feel amazing. But if we don't take care of all those aspects, they start to creep up and block the whole system. So people who deny their emotions, for instance, or deny that they are a spiritual being having a temporary experience in a body, they start to have issues because of the not looking at the whole. You can
And the whole
understand
thing, the whole package.
the whole package.
This is wonderful. I love it. I love it. So, how does Wellness Revolution differentiate its coaching program to provide a more personalized and integrated learning experience for the students?
Yeah. So health coaching is very important now in this whole process because we've like it's a relatively new field, coaching in general, like 20 years old. And it started with business. But what we've seen in the last since COVID and also a little bit before COVID is that we have a healthcare crisis. So a coach that's a lifestyle coach or business coach, they can't really address the whole. And so what I did is when I started writing the course and giving the course, I had people coming who were like really big business coaches in the world, and were coaching CEOs, and they wanted, like, they came to our course because they were like, I really need to get to understand what's going on in the body and the connections, because I have these CEOs who are running companies and they're physically so sick. And I'm thinking, how can they be well? I mean, this sick and have a well company? They can't. So if you're going to have a company that's thriving and well and doing well, I'm called in, but I had a block to help them because they had such physical challenges. So then they came and they started learning about heart disease and how health coaches can help, you know, change lifestyle habits and really make a difference for the physical, for the connections between the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. And this is going to grow. Like I'm going to just say there's an explosion right now all over the world in a need for health coaching and one-on-one coaching. And so that people can self-reflect in this time of change. It's an ascension. It's a change. It's like we've never seen. So with this change, people feel lost and disconnected. And so health coaching is a really marvelous way to help people reconnect to all aspects of themselves, work on themselves. And we're seeing more doctors and, you know, functional medicine doctors, new clinics coming, all kinds of things changing in the healthcare industry. And people are getting our healthcare, our coaches, and the way we train them holistically are getting really amazing jobs and jobs as leaders in the industry. It's interesting. Yeah.
So it is interesting that you are discussing about this moment for the experience for the students. Can you also discuss the practical aspects of the training course, such as the scheduling,
Sure,
online
sure.
resources, and I think
Yes.
you have also the interactive components.
Yeah, so we have a 6-month course and we do it twice a year. And we train, it's pretty intense because the people come in, students come to us and they change themselves. They start even if we have doctors who, or we one year we had 7 PhDs, can you imagine? A lot of them had lost their jobs because of artificial intelligence. A lot of people just business people searching for meaningful jobs. They're tired of the old job they had. So we have all kinds of students. First of all, lawyers, people who are just I mean, not just, but moms and dads, and they want to take better care of themselves, better care of their families. They want a new kind of job that they can do part-time on their own. And so we train you 6 months. It's on Wednesdays, 2 to 6:30 p.m. Central European time. The good thing is that the people come and we don't allow more than a certain amount. We take between about 20 and 28 students or something every cohort. And the thing that's wonderful about this is they're small cohorts and that we have like it's all online, but it's all like a class. So everybody gets to know each other. We have discussions. People really get personal care. They have a mentor that works with them for 6 months that helps them with the changes they have to make. And they have student partners that they practice coaching skills because we have very, very high accreditations with, ICF and the National Board of Health and Wellness Coaching. And these accreditations can really help people land new jobs and really get into the medical system now. It's the change is happening.
I love it because there's an awakening, like let's say, and knowledge that we have to change. We have to change, and what is the best ways, even to learn, even if you don't want to be a coach. It is nice to follow the course so you will know how to feel or how to treat yourself, how to become the person that you want to become, especially for your health and the wellness that we need. So it's not only, okay, I'm going to study because I want to be a coach. No, it is good for you. Also, I'm going to say to the viewers to learn about how to treat yourself, your own body, your own inner self, because sometimes I also said everything or the changes comes from the inside out,
Totally.
especially
Totally.
for
And you know what, you can, if the inside is not in alignment with what you want to manifest. So what we really work on is our ability to create our reality, right? Manifest health, manifest happiness, manifest what we're supposed to be doing, manifest whatever it is we want, the right relationship, the right, because people are having storylines that they're not happy with. So how do you go from that storyline that is making you unhappy to create a life where the storyline changes? And so we really work on we really show the new sciences and show how the fabric of our whole world, like, how the cells work and how that connects to the universe and how we are all connected and how that energetic field interacts with all of it. And how we can instruct our field, how we can dictate and influence our DNA, influence our cellular well-being. So this is fun because once you realize you have so much power, you really start to change your life. You really look at things differently. But I will say a but here, but there's some work for us all to do to get there. We need to clean up our acts right now. We need to clean up the history. We need to get rid of the blockages that have been, in sometimes up to 14 generations coming through the family lines, patterns of behavior, ways that we interact with ourselves and others, and we don't even see it. We can see others so easily, but our own. And that's why health coaching is amazing, because you ask for a reflection. You say, you're going to be my reflector. And because of you, I'm going to create the life I really want.
Incredible. I love it. It's very, very interesting. So now we're going to go to the other part of your amazing job. You've written a book called your creator matrix that you were talking about it in the
I can show it
before.
here. Here it is.
Yes. What is the central concept of your creator matrix, and describe it in the book?
Yeah. So it was really hard because I'm dealing with so much that I tried to give people the bigger view, and yet details also, right? Research. I did 5 years of I actually did 20 years of research, but it took me 5 years to put it all together in this book. But it says your creator matrix. And what does that mean? Well, a matrix is a structure. It's a form. And actually, we live in a form. This earth has a form, right? We see it. A house has a form. If it's not good, if it's breaking down, like it's happening all over the world now for whatever reason, we have old houses and hurricanes and all kinds of things we were just mentioning. If things break down, they don't function. And so the structure, the old structure we were on for eons, I would say 26,000 years, we were in an old system, an old structure. And I mean, to give you an idea, this is the most amazing time to be alive, because the fact that you're alive right now is the most unbelievable time we've had in forever, for 26,000 years. So now we've hit Earth is going through what we call a photon belt as of 2020, and it started in the 1960s as it was coming towards that photo belt. What we call the Age of Enlightenment is coming, and or here now. And so what does that mean? Well, can you imagine Earth spinning through the universe, and it's in a very dark place? We've been in a very dark place. And that's a discussion we could all have, but it's very long. But now we're going to a lighter place. And when I mean lighter, I mean light is information. So if we are, like, imagine you're in a dark room and I suddenly put the light on, like here, I can play with this light. I can put a very dark room, we see less. And I can put us, like, isn't that funny? And I can put us in a very light room and we see a lot more, right? So I'm going to try to get the right one. Yeah, see, look at the dark.
Yeah.
And the light. And so it's important for us to understand that as we're seeing more, that is consciousness. That is our awareness. So imagine you're just like, you're in the dark and then someone turned the light on. Well, you know what? It's not comfortable, because first of all, we were comfortable in the dark. We knew it. So now we turn the light on and we're not very comfortable. We're like, oh my goodness, feel this, feel that, It changes. Wait, hold on. That's a little better. Is that better? Wait a minute. That's better.
And
so
then
so it's not comfortable to suddenly have all this consciousness when you see things and you feel things and you understand things, and then you say, why did I do that for 20 years when this is how it works? Oh my God, I was told it's like this, but it's not like this. Oh, it's such a shock. Oh, the governments, I trust them. Oh, we go through this whole thing now, and we're really in a shock. And yet it's exciting. So it's shocking and exciting. And the excitement is that we're starting to see more and know more who we really are. So if you imagine that we were like Sleeping Beauty asleep, and now we're waking up to who we are, and this is going to take a little bit of time. So what we have now is a lot of chaos on the planet. And you can see that. I don't have to explain
very
it to
clearly.
you. Everybody. So as the old structures are falling, we're going into the new, we're seeing and we're feeling a lot of chaos. But it's important that we don't give up hope, that we know what's happening, because even NASA has written about this change. They called it the precession of the equinox, and this photon belt is truly here because they write about the increase in solar flares, solar activity. That's all coming from being in that photon light. So if you look up NASA, they'll tell you we're having these huge solar flares that we've never had before. And I believe, and I write in the book a lot of research I did, that what's happening is that those solar flares are activating and waking us up through our DNA. And I think the fact that we had 12 strands of DNA, we have them, but only 2 were awake. So imagine what could be if all the others wake up. That's crazy, right? So we talk about it in the book because that's and it's more practical actually. We talk about how we create our reality and how we find and what is health and what does it mean when our body's thriving and when is it what's happening on the planet right now with everybody's physical as we are going through this change. It's quite a journey to lighten our physical body up. So we have to adjust. And so I talk a lot about that too, that change that we're in.
Can you show us the book?
Sure. So
Very.
the matrix is the structure, right? And we are writing our own book, but we are changing the very structure. So what we have to understand, but we have to get a hold of the whole structure, which is body, mind, spirit, emotion. That's the whole of us and not be separate. So we need to reconnect, you could say, to the entirety of who we are. So I did this with my sister, and she's an artist. And she made, I'll give you an example. She made 13 beautiful portraits to help the reader to understand multidimensional, because it's not easy to understand. So here, let me see if I can find the
So
one that I
this is one of the questions I wanted to ask you also. Show us the pictures while I ask you, because they're amazing. And well, we know that your sister have done the illustrations. So the illustrations are by Deborah Cayola, and they play in helping the readers, as you say, navigate the concept presented in the book. So how does that?
Yeah, how does it go?
How does it go?
The book represents how you direct your story, how you direct your life as a creator. Okay. So every picture has a book. It's either in a book or on a book, and it's magic realism. So if you know a little bit about art, it's all magic realism. So there's a lot of light in each of the portraits. And when we had two huge openings, one in New York and one here, she sold her artwork, and people can still purchase these on her website. We can put the link below, but they're beautiful. And people who buy them say that it helps them kind of understand, feel better. Like they look at it and their frequency goes up. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting.
Particularly interesting. This one is, the book is actually sand in an ocean. So the ocean's coming forward. So it's a multidimensional, you see. And you see the clouds are blue and the people are blue. And there's a light coming between the people, but the people on Earth feel disconnected. But they're never disconnected. So that energy is connecting us all the time. And so I talk about the importance of that and also the water. Look at the water. It's very important, water. We are actually on a water planet. Not all the planets have this much water. This is
true. But actually, we have to start reconnecting again with our, like fullness and the energy that we do have it, but we have lost it. We don't really see inside ourselves anymore. We just live a life, but we don't
understand. That's what it is.
Yes, and it's like empty. You go through life empty.
This is beautiful. Look at this. You'll like this one. This is epigenetics. So look at the hands and look at the DNA and look at the light. So beautiful. And the book. See, your health and the ability to awaken, the ability to change your reality physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually is in your hand. So you can change your DNA. Crazy. I was told we could never change our DNA. That is not true. So I talk about that in the book. But I mean, so that gives you an idea of the artwork and how we try to help the reader.
Interesting. So now talking about the book, in chapter 1, you state that you are a creator. Could you explain what that means to you and the audience? Because I don't think it's only you, but all of us.
I know.
Until we really find out the truth.
I'll tell you, the young people they come in now. The youth are coming in with less on their DNA. They seem to understand, like if I speak about it, the young people on my course, they get it like
immediately.
Yeah, our children, they get it. But I think for our kids, it's hard right now because it's so chaotic. They have a difficult time right now. But so what do I mean? So you are a creator, meaning we've been living in a paradox where you could, we look at movies all the time, and the movies we watch are like, we always love the victim. We always feel sorry for the
Yeah.
victim. They play roles, right, in the stories, like actors play roles. Well, we also play roles. We just don't realize it. So, and those are we inherit a lot of our behavior from those roles. So if we have a lot of people who were injured and were in wars and blah, 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 we go on and on, they were the victim of the story. But they could also be the person killing. They could be the perpetrator. They could also be the savior, the knight that runs in and saves everybody. So that's the kind of storyline we've had over and over as we were going through those 26,000 years. We played every story. Believe it or not, our souls are eternal. We don't just have one life. Sorry, we don't. For those that don't believe that, that's fine. But I believe we've had many. And I think we can't even understand it all. Actually, it's so chaotic. That's even chaotic thinking about that, right? You're like, wow, that's so big. But imagine that you've had, even if we didn't have past lives, genetically, we're influenced by our ancestors, and they've had lives. And so what I learned in the book, and I tell in the book, was that my particular soul was very entwined with a great, great, great grandmother. And I carried a lot from her. And I mean, not necessarily good. It was a lot of blocks. And that was my work. And so she lost in the 1800s 12 of 14 children from probably smallpox, right? That's what they were. She was one of the original pioneers in the United States. So they had been in the American Revolution. They had gone up to the area of Michigan and all those areas, Indiana, Illinois. And she lost all those children. So imagine you lose all those children. What's the fear? Oh my God, you're going to lose the other two, right? Yeah. Well, in the end, she ended up becoming a suffragette and fighting for women's rights. And it's just a really interesting story. So I did this research. My grandmother was still alive, and I found it through a kinesiologist. So I went to, because I was always worried about my children. So I tell in the book how that happened. I was panicked. Like the first kid had all these issues and I couldn't even breathe. I was like, oh my gosh, and I was overly worried, like not normal. And so, and bad. And like when I compared myself to other friends who had children, their children were healthy, they were fine. And mine were having all these issues. And I was like, am I just bad luck? But then I started making the connection between my thoughts in the subconscious. This is your answer, the subconscious, we have a conscious state and the subconscious state. And we carry a lot of subconscious thoughts from the ancestors. And they're on the DNA, and they are constantly putting out in the universe negativity, negative beliefs, outdated, limited beliefs, you could say. And mine was that I would lose a child. Well, can you imagine in the DNA that I carried that from that lady? So I tell in the book how I started making me awake to the fact that it wasn't just linear medicine, that we had a lot of work to do.
Wow, it's so interesting. So how does the book address the process of digesting and assimilating all stories and beliefs that we were talking just about that?
So we have a yin. I don't know if you've heard of yin and yang, but yin and yang I call them the process of creation. So as a creator, by the way, to answer you are a creator is like a very long story, because for us to even accept that, we have to let go of a lot of other beliefs, because that's the problem. So, but what creator means is that you impact what happens to you, and that you influence the very fabric of how reality is by your thoughts and your emotions and your actions. And so this is what I truly have come to understand. And so the point is that you were asking about, remind me, you got to remind me to take a break here. What did you ask me again?
How does the book addresses the process of digesting and assimilating stories and beliefs?
Okay, good. So you'll cut that out. Yin and yang are the process of our how we create things. So we go, let's say we have a thought and we go out in the world and let's say we want to buy a house. That's a thought. And we do everything to look for the house, to get the money for the house, to do everything to get this house right. We do that if we have a thought like that. That's called yang. We're out there in the world, we're doing. And then we get the house. And then it's yin time. And yin time is when we realize that we created that and we digest it, and we have to take the time. And this is where our society is not doing a very good job. We don't digest it. We don't assimilate it. We don't take out of our experiences and learn from them because we don't do the yin many times. And we just go right back into the yang. Oh, now that I have the house, I want this. And now that I want this, I want this. Yeah. And so we get a very big stomach by the end of our life of undigested stuff that we create. Or I'll give you another example. We don't dare to go out into yang because something bad happened to us, and we spend 20 years in the past digesting what happened to us. So either can happen. And either, well, when you understand this creative process, you realize, okay, I had a wedding, I had a book launch like I just had, and now I had this, I got a virus now because I need to slow down. Right? I mean, I'm just giving an example. So
yes.
And that's the body saying, you need yin, you need to digest, you need rest, you need to, and so I just bring this up in the book because it's so important for us.
So we have to stop, relax, breathe, take everything in, and then take the next step. Not going from jumping. That's wonderful. Can you explain us how quantum physics and the new sciences such as the epigenetics, the glycobiology, and the nutrigenics are connected to the creation process described in the book?
Perfect. And also I want to make one more comment about that. You also have to I work with a lot of clients who have had problems, really big, like almost traumas to almost traumas, and they've stored them. And because of that, they don't dare to live. So it is both. I just really think both we can see them right now on Earth. But those new sciences you were mentioning, quantum physics is really understanding that physics is like looking at how our physical world works. And quantum physics is really looking at how we are all connected and we are multidimensional, and that we are not what we think we are. And so there were a lot of experiments done in quantum physics, and I bring them up because it shows that we can influence our reality. So quantum physics is really showing us that we are connected and that we are multidimensional, and that we can impact our field, what happens to us, and that we don't have to be victims, and we don't have to take things from others or be as good as somebody else. We just have to be who we are. We're all connected and we're all important. So I can't go into everything about it, but I try to explain that to people, because when they understand this quantum physics, they start to go, oh my goodness, we have a lot to learn. That's what happened to me as I started researching it. Epigenetics is really the study of, epi means above, or above genetics. So I was taught genetics. If you have certain genes, unfortunately, you're going to manifest, we thought, those things like cancer genes, whatever. But it's not true. Like, just because Aunt Susie is a very good knitter doesn't mean you're going to be a good knitter. My mother was an amazing ballerina. I didn't get that. Honest to God, I got other genes. That's funny, isn't it? So, but what it does come. But if I really wanted to be a dancer, could I perfect it? If I tried and tried and tried, I might if I put the energy. And that's the epi. That the epi is saying, but wait a minute, you influence this. You influence what genes are pulled out, and So maybe somewhere in me there is a dancing gene or a lifetime when I was a dancer, and I could connect to that and become a dancer. So that's just an example of the good. Now, the negative is that your aunt, whatever, or Uncle Charlie had cancer. And then you say, oh, I have interviewed people recently that said, oh, all my family die young or whatever. It's not true. Thoughts matter. And when we say those things, we put them in the field and they come back to us. So we have to be careful what we own. So just because that's in the DNA doesn't mean that's the gene that you're going to pull out. If you make different choices, if you take care of yourself, perhaps you won't at all. And if you do more and more, and I make this point in the book, we're coming to a point where we're really going to be able to address that cancer is not what we thought. Cancer, everybody has cancer all day long. When cancer grows uncontrollably, the problem is that we don't have a strong immune system. So we got to understand it. And when we start to understand, oh, it's my immune system, and how do I take care of that? And what do I have to do? Well, we see on TikTok and all these, so, we have more access today, right? The kids. In our day, we didn't. But the kids are realizing, oh, yeah, I have to do my lymph. I have to drink more water. I have to eat healthier foods. So these things are where epigenetics is showing us we are powerful to influence our outcome of our health and wellness. And glycoscience is the study of, well, I go into nutrigenomics and nutrigenetics, and I'm not going to go into both of them now, but they're just saying they're a part of epigenetics, but they're really looking at the food. They're looking at like how when you eat a certain food, genetically, maybe you don't like it. You're programmed not to like it from your ancestors. Or maybe you're eating McDonald's every day, and that's influencing, and that's epigenomics. So those two sciences are really powerful. And glycoscience, most people have never heard of it. I teach how to be healthy at the cell level. And this is a picture of two cells, and they're communicating through light and information. And you make 1 million cells a second. Can you imagine? Wow. And your cells die at that rate too. That's called apoptosis. It has to happen. We have to kill them and we have to build them so that we hopefully kill the bad ones. And so the point of glycoscience is that if our cells are not communicating properly, we cannot be healthy. And people need to know about the science so they can help their bodies and their cells be healthier. So those are the main science. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. I do love taking care of myself, my health, my body, and, all this information that you're giving is like, I'm not doing even half of it, not even the third part of it. Like, wanting to take care of myself is like, I do it, but it was like, oh no, I've done nothing. After listening to you.
No, but I think like even the fact that you're having me on, or you're having other people on about, like, I am is so beautiful, the whole name, right? I am what I am. But the fact that you're in a very conscious environment with conscious listeners, I think it's important, because that's how we will grow together. We will influence each other. And it doesn't mean you have to worry about it. Actually, the most important thing you could do today is to just catch your thoughts that don't serve you and make statements that are powerful, that are positive about your health. Like, I feel amazing. And, if you're having an issue, feel, go there, feel your body, feel where the issue is, and ask yourself, what is this body of mine trying to tell me? And I think that's when you start to just talk to your body and listen to the messages that your body's giving you, you really can just make these changes. They're little and they make a huge difference.
Wow. I want more.
Oh.
What are some of the examples of practical techniques and methods to support the readers in creating the optimal cellular health and wellness?
So I think you have to start where you're interested in. So if you're interested in food and you want to eat better, that's great. If you're interested in like exercise or healthier relationships, some people are more interested in, you know, connecting with the spiritual part of themselves right now, right? How how am I going to do that? So as long as you're working on one aspect and you think about that and you also think about the fact that you have all aspects, they're already starting to go together. Because the minute you start to pay attention to yourself on any level, things just start showing up and go, and your whole process will go much faster. That's what I've noticed. But if you deny it and you don't look at it and you've had an achy, joints for like 5 years and you're not paying attention, or headaches, and you just keep going, well, what do you think will happen? The body will say, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
And
the
then
mind will say, I'm done. Yeah. Something will
exactly,
say.
this is the only body we have in this life. So we have to take care of it.
Absolutely.
That's
So
true.
it's important because think about this. If you're disconnected on any of those levels, then your cells can't connect and be healthy and happy. Just like you, when you're disconnected from somebody because you had an argument, it feels so bad, doesn't it? It doesn't feel good. And when
Heartbroken.
yeah, heartbroken. And when you reconnect, you're so happy. So I think it's just that. The health and wellness are about connecting on a high frequency. And that's where we're going. So we should be excited.
Yeah, I love it. So, Kathleen, also you mentioned a shift towards heart-based living
Yes.
and co-creation. So how do you see this impacting individuals' life and the society, or as a whole? As a whole.
Yeah. So we are like, it is heart based. So a lot of us have been in the old ways in our heads, and we had to be because it was called survival. So if you weren't on 24/7, you didn't feel like your family would get enough, to eat or to be able to go to college or whatever. You were always in the worrying about, I have to be on. I have to know everything. I have to, now with computers, we know we don't have to know everything. That's so funny. But what's going on now is we've always had our heart, and our heart is our biggest electromagnetic field, far bigger than the brain. And the heart has like that. What does that mean? That means that you can affect your energy and what's happening to you much more powerfully through your heart. So when you're with people, if you go to your heart, you can make a difference in any conversation. But if it's from the brain and you have to be right, it's not going to work out so well. So we're learning that lesson right now on social media and everywhere. So heart-based living is really just learning to live from your heart, which is your power center, and your connection to source. That's where we're connected to all that is. So we get help when we're there. I really believe that.
I love it. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I really, really, really want, well, we do have your copy of the book, but I want to read it completely because I really want to learn. And I think that the viewers are also interested in learning more. And we want to make that change. We want to help people make that change. It's you, it's us with the magazine. And it is very important for people to be aware and awaken slowly, like it is happening now, but it has to happen more before you get sick or you get something that is not very healthy to protect or keep on with your life, especially like you were talking before, like cancer. Cancer is something that it's very, very not a very nice healthy issue. So we want to go and know in what ways does your creator matrix aim to inspire and bring hope to humanity?
Yes. That's nice. Well, first, I just have to say, like, talking with you. Like, it is exciting, right? To be here. Just, I think, like, emotions are so important, and we have to learn to live in the higher frequency emotions of joy and hope. And we have to realize that we have to work on hope. Like, we can't always just look for it, but we have to own it. So what is hope? Hope is realizing that you can influence your future and in a positive way. Hope is knowing that you are important. Hope is knowing that no one in your life is by accident, and you're all in your life, and it's divine. It's in a divine. It's actually amazing, all of the people in our lives. Even though if we're arguing with them, it doesn't matter. If we're having this, whatever stories we're having with the people, it truly doesn't matter. They're meant to be in our lives, and they're meant. And when we start to get ourselves out of the story, we start to change our perspective, and we start to go to our heart, and we can have compassion for all people in our stories and everything that happens.
Be happy for the lessons,
Yeah.
the lessons learned.
Yeah, because the lessons guide us. They guide us. They're why we're here. We don't, planet Earth is very hard Earth. I mean, planet. It's not an easy place to come. But we come here, and I think all humans that come here are like total heroes. They're like amazing because they dare to come here, to forget who they are, and to come and play out these storylines, to learn, and for our souls. It's so deep what we're learning. And I think we should be proud of ourselves that we're here.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Before we close this show, this is just an amazing and inspiring interview. I want to know more, but we have to finish sometime.
I know, we do. But I love being with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The same. Before we close this show, do you have some last words you would like to share with the audience?
I think just believe in you, each of you. Believe that you're important, and that you're not here by accident, and that try to find why you're here, because each of us are here right now to help with the process of the change. And so find your skills, find out what you love, and do it. And you'll start to notice that everything just goes much easier.
Thank you so much. Wonderful words. Thank you for being with us here, Kathleen. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and transformative journey with us today, your vision and heart-based living, and your work with the Wellness Revolution and your Creator Matrix are truly inspiring, and it's clear that the insights you offer can help people unlock new levels of health, wellness, and the personal development. And that is very important. We all need to learn to discover ourselves, to start loving ourselves. And
exactly.
Sometimes I say, yes, loving ourselves, because that's where you start. And sometimes I say, maybe people will see you as a selfish person, or maybe you think, I don't want to be selfish thinking about myself. There's going to be a narcissist. Actually, it's not about being narcissist. It's about being me, myself, and I in a positive and safe way that you're going to take care and love yourself and heal yourself and protect yourself. Because if you don't do it, you're going to be sick. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And if you want or have family, people, kids, your husband, or someone to take care of, you forget about yourself. But the moment that you're sick, all these people around you, they're gonna continue with their lives. So you have, that's something I always say, you have to take care of yourself and be a little bit selfish. Me, myself, and I. Love yourself, because if you don't do it, you're not gonna be able to help others. You're not gonna be able to give to others.
And so you won't believe in yourself, because you can't believe in yourself if you don't love yourself.
Exactly. Thank you so much. For our viewers, if Kathleen's message resonates with you, we invite you to connect with her through her wellness programs and find out more about her book. The information to connect with her is on the screen. And of course, make sure to tune in for our next episode of Conversations with IMTV, where we continue to explore life-changing stories and insights from incredible individuals like Cathleen Beerkens. And until next time, keep seeking wellness, transformation, and the best version of yourself. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.